Hello. In this tutorial we will cover all we need regarding the rendering. Let's start off by opening the specific file for this video. Okay, a quick render to see how this look like. You can drag around to examine and get the right angle while render is on. Pretty cool. Let's turn that off now. Now let's open the render settings. The render we've been playing around with was an HDR lighting based. In Composer there are 3 lightings for rendering: HDR, sunlight and scene lights. So the HDR is simple and very effective when rendering sample models and interior shots. Just select the desired through the list here. Now just for the record, the real-time rendering depends on the viewport size. Keeping it smaller can boost your work and give you accurate results in little time. Drag the panels to shrink the viewport size. You may need to open some panels as well. Alright, that's more like it. So, you can control the strength of the light by dragging this little dragger over here. Change the hue, and so on. If you want to even use your own HDR files, Composer accepts .hdr and .xr formats. By the way, the reason why we're not seeing our HDR in the background is something called the backplate, and it's the background of your render. In fact, let's go ahead and click on this icon over here. The backplate used here is just a solid color backplate. This icon over here will turn off the backplate and environment will show. A general rule is that the backplate is always dominant on the environment. Okay, now let's move on to the sunlight. You can move those sliders back and forth to see results. Words can't be better in understanding what they actually do. And with the real-time feature here, it's never more easy. You can add an infinite miraflores as well through this icon over here. Change the reflectivity and other options as you desire. There is another way to ease the sunlight experience. Click on Sun Orientation icon, then notice after hitting the accept mark, the changes will be implemented instantly. Really good way to go around. Now let's see the lights from scene. This will only display whatever lights you have in your scene. In this case we only have those balls with the emitter material on the rims there. However, let's go ahead and add another light source. Add as many lights as you want. After that experiment, let's delete the lights. So I want to delete it, then I should select it first. So I will open the object tree. Let's dock it in here. Click and hit delete. Keep in mind that the HDR and sun lighting cannot coexist, but any lighting in your scene will be present while sunlight or HDR is on. So feel free to mix between them to get more satisfaction out of your lightings. Alright, now let's go to the backplate section. The first icon is going to turn off any backplate, so the environment, whether it's the sun or the HDR, will be rendered and displayed. In fact, let's select HDR to see what we are talking about here. By the way, we are not seeing the HDR in the viewport because of an option that's been turned off. So let's go ahead and turn it on back. Now back to the backplate. Select the second option. This will make our background a single solid color, just like we had in the beginning. However, it will not show in the viewport until we turn off the option we just switched to display the HDR. So let's do that. Oh, since we are closing on the environment section, let's talk about this good information. Sometimes you need to rotate the HDR for whatever reason. Okay then, back on track. Let's give it some shadow just for the look. Okay, so now let's add an image to the background. Open the image called room.jpg in this video's exercise file directory. Just to remind ourselves and have better understandings, I will change the lighting to sun just a bit. Anyways, back to our background. Now let's add a spherical background. Go ahead and open the file called elevators360.jpg in that same directory. Keep in mind that the best images for this option are the spherical panorama, not the 360 panoramas. That being said, now as we can see, this is nice, but the table seems floating in thin air, which is not exactly what we want here. Just check the hemispherical background and watch the magic take place before your eyes. Okay, great. Feel free to tweak some of those parameters and colors to fit your own preference. Now, as we mentioned earlier, that it's best to use a spherical panorama background. Keep in mind that HDR files are also supported in the background. In fact, I will open the exact HDR we are using, so that our lightings match our background. If it doesn't show in the first render, you can just turn off the spherical and turn it on back. It will refresh automatically. I will try to get a nice angle with this. Try to follow along. This is getting fun. Anyways, let's go to the advanced icon now. Okay, here we have two icons, the tone mapping and the render parameters. The tone mapping is very useful to give you the final result, without the need of using a third-party software for editing the image. Alright, enough talk. Let's tweak some things over here. This checkbox will give the dark cloud around the image. Filter type will tweak the image interpolation. I keep it regular when my scene doesn't contain much details. Smooth can make edges look blurry, and sharp may make it look slightly jagged. The TM1 is a different kind, same purpose. I'll leave that to you for experimenting. Let's move on to the other icon here. Okay, this over here are different types of rendering. You don't really have to mess with it. Just make sure it's on Fast Path Tracer. It's the latest developed and faster accurate results. Max depth is another term for ray bounces. Having it low can make render faster if your scene contains little light sources and less glass. However, in this scene we have a big fat glass there. So let's see what kind of effect we may face with a low depth. Let's tweak the glass a bit first. Okay, that's better. Is the image ratio during navigation. Let's just see what it does. Higher is not recommended if your computer is weak. I keep it somewhere in the middle so I can see details but also fast. Okay, now this option over here will exclude whatever numbers of CPU cores that are used to render, so if you need to work on other softwares while rendering, this will keep your computer steady and fast. In exchange of time, of course. SPP will determine when is the render going to stop, only when you're using a closed render. Like this one or animation. The other two over here will be open till you decide to stop it. We'll get to them in a while. And this one is for this, as we can see. Okay, now let's skip this for now and go to the last icon here. And this is really the output, and there's nothing much to explain here. Just know that this is the dimensions. custom. Format: alpha background or not, full animation or partial. Now if you are wondering if you can do all this really fast and get rid of the pile of projects real quick, let's open the library. Here we have presets. It will change everything including the HDR, and even the number of cores and image ratio. Just drag the image and watch. Now the great news is that you can create your own just by a click of a button. Select this and hit delete. Now let's set our library. Now let's hit add. Keep in mind that you can only add and edit the library upon creation. After that it's protected from editing, so we should delete it and create a new one with an image. Great! So now let's learn about the icons I promised you. Long story put short. This is for when you are working. It will take the dimensions of the current viewport. This option will never end until your computer blows. Are clicking on it again. Useful when you have no idea how much SPP you need for this render. So when reaching desired quality you can save with this icon over here. It will take the dimensions that's set inside the Output tab. This will stop where SPP here is set. This one will not work if we don't have any scene states. Be advised that we already covered the scene states in the 3D PDF chapter, so if you're interested, just go and check it out. And again, the render of each scene state will stop according to this number over here. The last one on the right is for animation. Just remember to keep the SPP lower than when rendering a realistic shot, or it will take forever to render in a conventional computer. Now finally, the clay mode is just to study the lightings in your scene real closely. Okay, so there are some little things to learn before closing this lesson. The depth of field and render distribution. We can close our panels now. Click this icon over here. Now turn on DOF and hit on this little box. Click on the object you wish to be on focus. Now give a value here. Always less than 1. Looks pretty good. I gave it 4 minutes. You can give it more if you want. Okay, now finally the distribution of renders. Real simple but awesome tool. We need an animation to be present, which we already have here. So go to Render menu, click on Distribute Render, set the number of pieces, let's say 4. Now take the files to 4 separate computers. And in the Render menu, hit Render Package. Congratulations, we have finished everything we need to know about rendering. Now go and show them your gut. Thanks for watching. Have fun.